At the end of this sentence, you are a new person. You are not the same person that was the one who heard the beginning of this sentence, literally. And all of our pain, all of our problems, that prison is not real. It is a phantom prison. It is in our mind. That prison does not exist. Life is not something that needs to be suffered through. Life is not a constant process of trying to get more and more. People are running around looking to other people for the answers, thinking that they know better. Oh, do you know where my liberation is going to come from? And this guy's like, yeah, I recommend you do this. And then that guy who says, I recommend you do this, turns to another person and says, do you know where I'm going to get my liberation from? And this guy says, yeah, you're going to get it from over there. And then that guy who said you're going to get it from over there also goes to another person. Everybody's looking to each other. Everybody's looking and wondering, where are the answers? I don't know. I'm telling you right now, I don't know. Every single time I think I know, every time I listen to someone else's idea of what is the answer, I get this huge burst of energy. It's exciting because I'm able to let go of the old version of me and my old thought processes and pick up some new, more positive thought processes that help me to maneuver through life. And yet, time and time again, no matter what, it happens the same way every single time I've done this. And let me tell you something, I am not a stagnant person. I have never been. I have changed more times than anybody I know in my life. And if you've watched my channel, you probably have some kind of idea of the fact that Nathan is a guy who is all over the place all the time. You couldn't put me in a box because I'm all over the place. I'm constantly reinventing myself, constantly. And that process has led to destruction over and over and over again. I have recreated myself a million times, and I always fail, always. Because no matter who I create myself to be, this moment is always new and is always free from the previous one. And so no matter what story I create for myself, I am always trapping myself in it. It will always be a prison. Will that story help me have more money? Will it help me have more fame? Will people validate me by thinking that I'm amazing suddenly and thinking that I have the answers? Is that going to validate me? Is that where I'll find my worthiness? Well, that's a totally different question. I don't think so. No, it's never enough. It never is. Because the phantom self doesn't want joy. The phantom self finds expansion in pain. The phantom self wants you to just keep thinking that you are the phantom self because it's not real. The phantom self has no life of its own. The fake you, the story that you tell yourself, is not real, period. It is a fake illusion. And it's scary to the illusion that you create of yourself. It's terrifying. It's afraid to die. It's afraid to have anything in life challenge it or suggest that it might not be true. And so when life is giving you a beautiful opportunity in the now moment, whenever truth really presents itself to you, you take it as an attack and you get defensive and you bury yourself deeper in your beliefs because the phantom self is afraid to die. But all you lose when you let go of the phantom self is bullshit. That's all you lose. All you lose is bullshit. That's it. It's all bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. Will having a different story about yourself that you can be successful and make money and are valuable and are a worthy person help you to get more money and to change your life situation? Yeah, I've experienced it. It's true. But let me tell you something. What I've really been looking for my entire life, what I feel like I see a lot of people looking for, you will not find it there. You will not. It's just new wallpaper on the same prison that none of us can escape. Because who we are that's trying to escape is the prison itself. You see? Let me say this in another way. We are trying to get away from our problems by moving towards success. This is a very simple example. You could stretch this in a lot of directions, but think about it like this. We have problems, we have discomfort, and so we are moving towards comfort and solutions. We're moving towards success. But what we don't realize is that the problem and the discomfort is the part of you that thinks it needs to move towards comfort and success. So in other words, you are on a merry-go-round going nowhere fast. You're getting there fast. You're getting to nowhere every single moment. You're missing it. You're missing this incredible nowness, newness that you are. Because we're trapped. We're trapped in our own mental prison of who we think we are. And who you think you are is always, 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 period, going to hold you back from being in the present moment, in the newness that it is, which is where all your power is, by the way, which is where when you step into that is when you're so fucking powerful that everything that you've been looking for is here. That all of a sudden, think about it like this. People talk about all these mental concepts of the universe being vibration. And so you got to vibrationally match something for it to be here, right? Mind you that the only one who would care or be interested in that is the false self, by the way, because the false self is the one who's trying to get more, who's trying to understand things, who's trying to understand and to move through all this bullshit and to figure out where's the answers. But the false self doesn't realize that it's not even real and that that's where all the bullshit's coming from. And the more it runs from itself, the more it's running. It's like if you have a problem and it's tied to your ankle, as you run from it, you're pulling it toward you and you're running from the problem. But the faster you run, the faster it chases you. You've got to stop running. You've got to stop running and you've got to let go of the rope. You've got to just let it fall off because it's weighing you down. It's not benefiting you. And I know it's scary. Oh, God damn it. Trust me. I know it's scary. I know. It is terrifying, absolutely terrifying to me to let go of the story that I've created for myself that has helped me to get to where I am now. And that's just my false self that is trying to convince me that that's true. That all the work that I've done, that this huge routine that I've created, that all the morning routine that I do, and all the books that I've read, and all the ideas I've programmed into myself are why I'm able to live the life of my dreams and do what I want right now with my life and be a YouTuber. That's hard for me to let go of. But the truth is that it is weighing me down because it's not true. What is true is right here, right now. And I've had a lot of moments where I've tuned into that truth, and that's when everything really expands in my life beautifully. So you see, it's not the bullshit story I'm telling myself that actually gained me success. It's the letting go of the bullshit story that allows success, because life is a process of success. Life wants you to succeed. Life is constantly wanting you to be lifted up and is constantly lifting you up. Look around you. Everything is just naturally growing. It's life. It's how it goes. I read in a book the other day this hilarious story that I want to share with you. And I'm going to make it a lot shorter than the story I read. It was pages long. I'm going to tell you in 20 seconds. A guy was really upset at a farm selling thing where it's like a huge fair where they're selling their crops. Another farmer, being a good neighbor, sees him super upset, walks over, says, "Bro, what's wrong? Why are you so upset?" The upset guy complains that his tractor is a piece of shit, basically. And it's more trouble than it's worth, and it's ruining his life, and he doesn't even want to be a farmer anymore. So the good neighbor that he is says, "Hey, I know a thing or two about tractors. I'll come over, see if I can help you fix it." As the guy pulls up to this other farmer's property to help him and check out his tractor, he sees the guy, his wife, and two of his sons pushing the tractor to plow the field. They're pushing it. Extremely heavy tractor. Parking brake on, pushing it. The guy walks up and he says, "Oh, wow, it's really not working, huh?" And the guy says, "Well, actually, today's a pretty good day. Today it's working better than usual. Sometimes it pushes a little easier than others." And the farmer starts cracking up that came over to help, and he realizes, hey, he says out loud to the guy in a very nice way, he's like, "Bro, a tractor isn't something you push. It's something you ride." And he shows him how you turn on the tractor and drive it. Now, obviously, that would probably never happen. That's a pretty silly story. But this is the point. We have been trying to push our lives. We've been pushing ourselves in the direction that we want to go. We've been trying to push ourselves towards success. We've been trying to push ourselves towards happiness. What we haven't realized is that that is a natural process of life that just happens. That's something that you ride, not something that you push. That's why we've been draining ourselves. It's why we've been tiring ourselves out. And it's why our sense of joy, when we feel good, when you have a good day where you feel good, it's always fleeting. You want to know why? Because feelings and thoughts are part of the phantom self. Every feeling you have, it will naturally die. It will. It won't last forever. No feeling will. It doesn't have to scare you, though. No thought will last forever either. And see, this is our insanity, is we try so hard to make the feeling and thought last, and we are pushing the tractor. Another representation of this is a child holding a kite, doing this to try to get it to float. Bruh's literally going to pass out because he's blowing so hard to try to get that kite up in the air. If only he knew that all he had to do was just toss it up into the wind and it would fly on its own. So see, we have been completely misunderstanding how life is lifting us up. We've been resisting. We've been throwing down an anchor in our story saying, this is who I am. This is the way that it is. Sometimes we go through some painful process in life where we let go of the story we've been telling because it's too painful to carry anymore. And then what do? Like a real idiot, and I mean this out of love. I'm talking about myself, and I'm talking about it from a place of love. I'm going to explain this in a moment. It's an idiot move. You just create the same problem over and over again. You're on a merry-go-round. Stop creating a new story for yourself. Stop creating an identity. You don't need one. Be no one. No one can have everything in life. Be no one. You see what I'm saying? It's like so simple. It's really not a riddle. It's not some mind-blowing thing you need to sit there and think about. It's easy. It's simple. You don't have to think about it. Just be. Just live your life. Let go of the story. Just by being here in this now moment, you will be able to see the bigger picture. If you were on a movie set looking in a camera and you saw something and it was zoomed in on one thing on stage and you're looking through that camera lens, you're only going to see that one thing. You don't see the bigger picture. If you back up and you don't attach to that thing in the camera, you're not identifying with it. You're not saying, I am that spatula that the camera zoomed in on in the kitchen. I am the spatula. This is the spatula show. It's all about spatulas. If instead you just don't attach to it, life will do this naturally. It's what life is doing. You don't even have to worry about it. This happens naturally. Life does this. It backs up with the camera. And as it backs up, you start to see more tools in the kitchen. You start to see someone's in there cooking. Keeps going backwards. Now you see other rooms. Now you see it's a set. It's a stage. It's a show. Oh my God, you're in a studio. It's a show. You're not a spatula. You're a cameraman filming a show. But you didn't know that because you were attached to the spatula. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that you are a cameraman or that life is a show. I personally find that seeing it kind of like a show helps me to be more free because it's just, my person is not real. It's just a story I tell myself. You could be anybody. You really could. And it's in that power, it's in that infinite potential that you're able to recognize all of life's opportunities. Because if you're so zoomed in and focused on the spatula, you're going to miss everything else that's happening in the scene. You're going to miss the opportunities that are happening naturally in life for you. You're going to completely miss them. You're not even going to see them. Because you think you're a spatula. Let me tell you something. I've been discovering I am not a fucking spatula. I'm not. I've been trying to think, who am I? What am I? Am I this? Am I that? What about this? Oh, is that me over there? So I've been looking for myself. But while you're looking, it's the same thing as the metaphor I said about running from your problem with it tied to your leg. You run fast, chases you faster. It makes no sense. It's a merry-go-round going nowhere. Now, I want to take one more minute in this video to tell you something I've discovered about myself. I've been super confused by this thing that goes around that people say, and they say it from a good place, and they say it from a place of love. And I think that it probably might hit people differently. And I'm not trying to take a shit on it. I'm just saying this whole concept of trusting yourself, this whole concept of listening for the voice that is yours. It's a powerful, true concept, but because we're learning the concept from the false self who can't understand anything because they're literally, all the false self wants to do is create problems and pain for you. If you're in a field of beautiful flowers, I promise you the false self will find the one weed out there. That's what the false self does. It's what they love to do. Look for problems. So I've been trying to learn how to trust myself, but here's what I've learned. If you had a friend that you were cool with and you really trusted them and you're like, oh, they have good advice, they've got good input, and you followed their advice and input and it completely failed, okay, you know, it happens sometimes. The next time they give you advice, fails again. And then the next time it fails again. And then the next time it fails again. Now, not only this, they're continually lying to you. They're telling you things that aren't true. You believe it's true. You find out it's not. It didn't work out. And you say, oh God, this guy's a liar. So if you've got a friend that lies to you millions and millions of times and is always wrong, does it make sense to keep listening to them for advice? Or is it possible that taking their advice is the source of the problem? There's a saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Here's another one. Fool me a million times and clearly, I do not know the difference between what is true and what is false. So here's the point. I am not listening to myself anymore. That guy is crazy. I'm telling you. I'm not listening to this guy anymore. We'll just go ahead and call him Joe Schmo. All right. My false self, Joe Schmo. I'm not listening to Joe anymore. Joe doesn't know what he's talking about. The man is literally insane. Constantly creating problems, sprinting back and forth in circles with the rope tied to him on a merry-go-round. I'm not listening to this guy's advice anymore. I'm not sitting here listening to what Joe has to say. And trust me, I can still hear him. He's talking even now. He's freaking out because he's dying. Because I'm not giving him my power anymore. And so he will fade away. Because the only thing that keeps Joe in existence is me giving Joe my attention. That's why Joe's creating so many problems and so much insanity. Because as Joe does that, it confuses the real me. It confuses the real me that is the me to trust. Because I've got nothing left for myself. I don't even have any idea who I am. I'm nuts, basically. I'm letting an echo drive my life. I'm in the passenger seat. And this part of you, your false self, it says things to you. It says things like, hey, suffering now is totally worth the payoff later. It says things like, hey, you got to get from where you are here to over there. It says things like, hey, when you encounter this problem, react from my voice. When you walk up to someone that scares you or that you've got a problem with and you feel that panic and the voice is like, oh my God, run, get out of there now. That's the false self. If the voice says flip them off or say something mean to them, that's the false self. It's a lie. That's not really who you are. If you just be present in that moment and you watch that reaction, but you don't react with it, you will find something amazing. I'm not even going to tell you what, because I don't know. Just watch. See for yourself. If from now on, you don't move through life from reactions, from your natural instinct, from the voice that you think you're supposed to trust, oh, I got to trust myself. I got to do what myself says, because if I trust myself, that's what people in the spiritual community say is going to lead me to success. Oh, it leads you to a new prison over and over and over and over again. So I'm not listening to myself anymore. I'm listening to life. I'm listening to the now moment. And the craziest thing is happening. Now, I'm listening to me. Trusting in life is trusting in yourself. A vote for life is a vote for yourself. Listening to the false self, letting them drive your life is a vote for death. Because the false self is rigid, does not want to change, wants to live forever, but it doesn't live at all. And so it's just in a constant state of fear. You are literally in eternal presence and consciousness. Eternal. Do you understand that? Eternal. It does not make sense to let someone who thinks that they are going to die or wither away or fade out of existence if things don't go the way they want them to, or if they don't get really big in life or validate themselves by other people seeing how successful they are, then they failed. Why would you listen to that? It doesn't make any sense. It's bullshit. It is literally fake. It is fake. Isn't that interesting? No, I'm just some dude, you know, I'm like camping right there, camping in a van. I'm just out here. You know, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning because my dog who sleeps next to me was cold. He's like, hey, coming under my blanket to get warm. The man wakes me up. And so I'm out here. And I'm just like, you know, basically what I'm trying to say is I'm just some dude living his life just like you. It's like, you know, I don't have the answers. But I'm not looking to other people who seem like they have the answers. This is what we do in life. You see someone who's got a lot of followers, a lot of fame, a lot of money. And so we just assume that they know something that we don't. But nobody knows. Nobody knows. Because the part of you that knows is the false self. It's the bullshit lie. It's the merry-go-round. Just be. just live your life. It's good. You're good. It's scary to let go. I know. It's terrifying to let go of this part of me that I have such deep roots in that I believe is what's led to my YouTube success. But here's the truth. As I'm clinging to that, I'm not allowing real success to come to me. Life is trying to lift me up, but I have anchored my kite to the ground saying, no, this is what I'm doing, okay? Watch this. No, this is where I am. Don't you mess with me, life. I know best. This right here is what's going to lead me to success. This idea, this story, this belief. And life's like, what's life going to do? It's going to leave you alone because that's how life is. But also, life won't really leave you alone. It's going to bring all kinds of powerful truth to you every single moment. But when you're identified with being the spatula, when you think you're the false self, you're never going to see it. You're never going to see the truth. You're just going to see the story you tell yourself. And anything that contradicts your story is going to scare the shit out of you. And what are you going to do on YouTube? What are you going to do on the internet? What kind of books are you going to read? You're only going to search for things that validate and validate the beliefs that you have, the story that you want to tell yourself about life. And anything that suggests otherwise, anything that is a belief that contradicts yours, you will completely avoid it. You will completely look the other way. You won't click that video. You won't even search it. If you hear someone else talking about it, la, 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 la. I'm not saying that the other belief is true. I'm just saying, isn't it interesting that we want to defend our beliefs like it's some kind of battle? Look around you. Yeah, I mean, I admit, like, I've got a pretty cushy life. I don't know what it's like to be, starving in a different country or under the threat of like death or being taken from my home and sold as a slave or I don't know. I don't, how could I? I have no idea how to relate to that. But I'm looking around me and I'm like, this is not a survival situation. Like, there's nothing's trying to kill me right now. Nothing's trying to attack me. So why then am I in a constant survival state? 30-minute video. Wow. All right. Last thing I'll say. My dog, Lightning, he will sit at a field while we're sitting there chilling, constantly barking at everything that moves. Even things that aren't there, he barks. He's so protective. He still has his balls. I'm not taking them. I don't think that's cool personally. For me, that's a choice I made. Anyways, regardless, that's just another story. False self, thinking he's real. Lightning just barks. He just barks. He thinks everything's out to get us. He's trying to protect us. He's the protector guy. And what he doesn't realize is that there's no danger. He could actually just relax and enjoy the beautiful field and the sunlight. He could go around and sniff the flowers, but instead he's on high alert for danger. There is no danger, but to Lightning, in his mind, there is. And it's interesting to see that, because at first I laugh and I think it's funny. I go, Lightning, are you dumb? There's clearly nothing's happening. Relax. Why don't you just calm down and enjoy your life? Why don't you be here now? In that kind of state, you're more likely to actually have the awareness to notice when you do need to be activated in that way. When your head shoves so far up your butt, you're missing when there's actual real danger. There's been times where there was actually a dangerous animal near us while we're hiking around out here, or actually someone sketchy kind of like coming up on us. And he completely doesn't notice. And it's hilarious. But I can't make fun of him because we've been doing the same thing. We're sitting there on high alert, barking at all the danger that does not exist. All right. Much love. See you for the next video.